Welcome back for another video. As highly requested the last couple of days, we've got a Gameweek34 wildcard team to run through. It's a real puzzle, the Gameweek34 wildcard, and it took me longer than I thought to work out a team, because you've got the teams that are blanking this week, and you might want to own assets from them longer term, like Man City. You don't want to attack the blank Gameweek fixtures too much with players that you don't want for the run-in from teams that have fixtures this week. Plus, you want to try and juggle the potential double Gameweek 36 fixture likelihoods and account for those as well. The FA Cup semi-finals take place during Gameweek 34, so we won't know about who potentially doubles until after. So that's the main pro and con of Gameweek 34 versus 35 wildcard. The Premier League might drop a final double Gameweek announcement on us right after the semi-finals. Right now, we've just got the percentage likelihoods from sources like Ben Crennan's predictions. City and Bournemouth most likely to double. If you've used your free hit already, but you still have your wildcard, then the Gameweek 34 wildcard is a strategy to really strongly consider. Like if you're looking at short of 11 players this week, for example, and you're going to have to take a couple of hits to scrape a team together anyway, you'll basically save on those points hits, and you'll field a better team this week as well, so that can lead to a lot of points gained this week. Plus, of course, you can prepare for the final 5 game weeks pretty effectively, albeit not as perfectly as the Gameweek 35 wildcard, without the knowledge of who doubles. So let's run you through the team, and given a strong chance of a double Gameweek 36 at Bournemouth, plus a home fixture to Man United this week, we've gone with Kepa in goal. He's only 4.6 mil and he's kept 2 clean sheets on the bounce now against Palace and Fulham. Man United have just had their fixture difficulty reclassified to green for the first time ever. They've scored just 5 goals in their last 6 games, and you can understand why they've done it. Tottenham home are also considered a green fixture now. We went with Raya as the backup keeper in this draft, who's got Liverpool in Gameweek 36. So basically, at worst, you're going to have Kepa who's home to Villa that week, and you don't have to play Raya and you're starting 11. But at best, you could be benching Raya for double Gameweek keeper. In defence, it's Trippier, Aït-Nouri and Robinson. A big debate, especially among the free hitters this week, is what's the best Newcastle triple up? Like, do you go double defence and Isak, or do you go double midfield, Murphy, Barnes and Isak, or maybe like one of each position? We've gone for that latter combination here. If you're tight for money, then you can swap Trippier for Cher if he's available, or even Livramento. Cher might have an issue with his hamstring, which is something to keep an eye on if you have him or are considering buying him. Aït-Nouri is a slightly reluctant inclusion, but let's not forget how well Pereira's done compared to how Wolves looked earlier in the season under O'Neill, and obviously how frustrating Aït-Nouri was for a lot of owners at the time. Wolves are the most informed team in the league at the moment results wise. They're quite literally the only team that's on 5 straight wins in the league, and he's home to Leicester as well, who've been on a pretty historic goal drought up until recently. Over the last 6 game weeks, no defender's got a high expected goal involvement than Aït-Nouri. And lastly, Robinson. So where's flavour of the week Sessegnon then? Well, on a free hit, I think Sessegnon's a great option because it's a 1 week pump, but I'm more reluctant to recommend him on a wildcard. Like, can you definitely guarantee longer term that he starts every game? Wilson was back in the squad last match, so there is competition for that spot on the wing, and obviously he could use Traore or even Willian there as well. Robinson, I mean, he's a brilliant player as well, like 10 assists this season. Obviously some overperformance there in terms of his underlying XA, but I won't be surprised if a few big clubs are in for him over the summer. I did consider Kerkez as well, though obviously it means going double up in defence with Bournemouth, which is potentially a bit overkill, and having triple Bournemouth in the team might be too limiting later if they and Man City get double Gameweek 36. I prefer Kepa and Robinson to Leno and Kerkez basically, because if the double Gameweek 36 happens, then in blank Gameweek 37 you've got one extra benchable player that blanks. Onto the midfield, which is Murphy, Salah, Palmer, Kluivert and Mbeumo. Yeah, Murphy versus Barnes is another really close one, because obviously Gordon's competition for left wing primarily, but Barnes has been in better form compared to Murphy, and he's returned for his last 6 games in a row. This draft has actually got 0.9 mil on the bank for me, so you've got the choice of basically either player, assuming that you've got around the same budget as me. It's worth noting that over the last 6 games, Barnes has taken 18 shots in the box, which is more than any midfielder in the league. Only Evan Nilsson's got more in fact overall, with 19 in the box, just one more than Barnes. Murphy, for comparison, has taken just 4 shots in the box, so 14 fewer than Barnes, which really does make it a difficult dilemma on the wildcard, because Barnes does feel like he's got a bit more potential to become a problem later, if Gordon can wrestle a spot back in the team. And Gordon is ineffective in right wing, so I think it's going to be Gordon versus Barnes in left wing primarily, so Murphy feels a little bit safer. Again, if you need money to make the switch to Barnes or need to make another upgrade in the team, then going Trippier down to a cheaper Newcastle defender is the easy solution if you need that extra cash. Palmer's a strange one. Like, admittedly, he's really out of form recently, but who do you go for instead? And he's not going to keep blanking forever, is he? And he's got Everton home. You might find a combination that you like a bit more, like going Murphy plus Barnes in midfield, and then Trippier just becomes a different defender, but I'm actually not sure if that's better. Chelsea, as I say, are home to Everton as well, and every game is so crucial right now in the fight for top 5. So yeah, Palmer just about made it in after weighing everything up. And to be fair, he could be a really handy cash cow for a late season punt like Haaland if he's back in a few weeks. Or Saka's got Southampton at Gameweek 38. My free hit's active and Kluivert's feeling pretty close to a lock in my free hit team. I mean, his longest run of blanks in games that he started is 3 blanks all season in a row. Man United home as well, great fixture right now. And assuming that Man City beat Forest in the FA Cup, as I say, he's got a very good chance of doubling in Gameweek 36. How much do you reckon he'll be next season? He's performed like a 7 or even a 7.5 million mid, so I reckon he'll be thereabouts, but huge price rises coming I think next season. Speaking of 7 million assets, obviously that's where Mbeumo started, and he's a must-have in the wildcard. And what a year he's had, like 25 goal involvements in 33 starts, and they've got some amazing fixtures for the run-in as well. I mean, Forest away is not great, but at least they'll be well rested. Meanwhile, Forest will of course have played City on the weekend before that game wraps up next week. It's a weird schedule next game week. We've got games on Saturday and Sunday, and then there's nothing in the Premier League until that Forest-Brentford game on Thursday. So yeah, I guess at least you'll have a couple of players to look forward to cheering on that final day of the game week. Because we've also gone for Wissa and Isak up front. So yeah, it's double Brentford attack. And yeah, it looks like we're in line for a ton of price rises next season, looking at this front 7. Like, Isak's got to be a 10 million forward next season at least. Wissa probably 7 mil, and Mbeumo 9.5. Salah 15 mil wouldn't surprise me. Kluivert 7 mil, etc. I remember looking at an old screenshot of my team last season. I was thinking, I can't believe that we were able to afford that. And I had like Haaland, Salah, Saka, Foden, Palmer and Son all in one draft. I think we'll probably say the exact same next season looking at these kind of attackers that we had in combination. So yeah, I've gone with Salah captain, Isak vice, but go have your preference there. I do think they're really close. Obviously Isak's got the slightly better fixture, home to Ipswich, but I mean Liverpool could win the title and they're home to Spurs, which is a great fixture as well right now. Who are you going with captain this week? The bench is Raya, O'Brien, Vardiel and Marmoush. So there's a couple of upcoming fixtures for Everton that I think are worth taking advantage of. There's Ipswich home, and then there's Southampton home still to come for Everton, hence O'Brien's in there. I mean, Mikalenko, Brandtwaite, both solid choices as well. Tarkowski's my favourite if he's okay, but he went off with an injury last match. If that's a season ender, then I guess with only 5 games to go, Keane's an interesting one for 3.8 mil, but maybe O'Brien will move to centre back. So if Man City and Bournemouth double in 36, this team currently gives you 4 doublers there, which of course fills the bench in Gameweek 37 when they blank. And there is the potential to add 1 more doubler in 36, and then you could sell one of them straight afterwards. So by doing it that way round, you've got the option to assess which one is the best one to add and then take back out. So yeah, this draft is kind of aimed to cover everything. Blank Gameweek 34, double Gameweek 36, blank Gameweek 37, and obviously a strong team for those 2 single game weeks to come as well. If your wildcard's active, let us know below if there's anyone in your draft that's missing in this one. I'll be posting my Gameweek 34 free hit team after tonight's games as well. The chip's active already, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. See you soon for the next one.